What's up, guys? I'm John.
My name is Chris.
And we are the Heck, and today we're going to be checking out another lore video of Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. And this one, what is it?
Leviathan.
Leviathan!
Yeah.
Which I think is probably one of the coolest damn things ever in the history. Leviathan.
Yeah, I've always
awesome,
loved
dude.
that name.
Yeah, me too.
Leviathan.
But this one, again, is from Cartoon Universe, and I'm really freaking stoked. And again, I don't know if you are watching this video, but if you are, thank you very much for not copyright claiming our last one, homie. You guys are freaking awesome, and we really are enjoying watching these lore episodes. So many people have been talking to us about watching them, and it's been coming for a while now, like we've been wanting to. So
yeah, you can tell really how much you care about this stuff.
Yeah.
And it shows in the work.
Most definitely. But either way, homies, if y'all are new to our channel, smash that freaking sub button and let's get into this together, freaking boop. And then hitting that play button. Woo!
Leviathan is one of the seven deadly sins, a group of demons from real-life writings that are said to rule over hell. And with us finally seeing Leviathan on screen in the Helluverse, I think now is a good time to talk about everything we know about her.
I think so too.
Yeah, me too. I've been waiting, dude.
And outside of it. Leviathan is the deadly sin of envy in the Helluverse, inspired by the real-life writings of Peter Binsfield from the 16th century. Leviathan is an entity we know of from the Bible, whose different mentions add up to some very interesting lore.
The story of hell.
Leviathan is, first and foremost, understood to be a massive sea monster, one who has existed since ancient times.
I think that just makes it that much cooler, because, like, dude, the ocean is freaking terrifying if you think about it.
Leviathan could be real.
It
like,
could be out there waiting for us,
at
man.
the bottom
In the
down
Book
there.
of Psalms, God himself is described as having slain Leviathan in the earliest of times, with tradition saying that Leviathan was so massive that God had to slay its partner so it would not reproduce and devour all of humanity. Leviathan is
Don't
described
reproduce,
as having
please,
multiple
Leviathan.
heads crushed, perhaps inspiring the depiction of Leviathan in the show as a two-headed being. The name Leviathan comes from the root word lava, which I believe to mean something like to coil, inspiring the general depiction of Leviathan as not just a massive sea beast, but as one that is long and serpent-like. In the Helluverse, Leviathan rules over the Ring of Envy, which is believed to be a ring that is entirely aquatic, basically one giant ocean, with little dry land mass, if any. This is the only ring we haven't explicitly seen in the show, though my editor Haro pointed out that the theater room in Blitz's head from the episode Ghost Effers could be the Envy Ring itself.
They help me just call it ghost effers. I like it.
As outside of the windows, all we see is pitch black. But in the theater room itself, we even see what looks like some coral growing between the seas.
Dang it.
Implying they are in an ocean, despite Blitz not looking like he in particular is underwater. Every
Does
ring
look
of
very
hell
odd.
has a different colored sky, with the color diagrams in both Helluverse shows indicating that Envy's sky is purple, the darkest color even in the day. This would mean that even near the surface of the water in the Envy Ring, there'd be very little light, leading to the background stuff evolving the traits of deep-sea aquatic life. This includes bioluminescence, with many deep-sea demons in the show being able to glow in the dark, which seems to include Leviathan herself, others like Glitz and Glam, and even Rolando. However, the deep-sea fish demons can also become non-corporeal, basically turning into ghosts. I believe this evolved out of the need to navigate past large underwater masses of earth or stone that would be difficult to swim around in the endless dark. The culture of the Envy Ring is believed to be very suburban, and if it's really underwater, it is probably hard or even impossible for other demons to live there, explaining why we still haven't seen it in the show. The only
Whoa, what did those little things say?
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Explaining why we still haven't seen
Puss, butthole, dong balls. Ah, damn. Wait, no, it says butthole, bumhole. There you go. Dang, dude, I love this show so much.
It's so funny.
So many random.
Even the way they spelled balls is B-W-L-Z.
Dude, yes.
Seen it in the show. The only location we know exists there, as far as I am aware, is a city called Leviathan, or perhaps it's pronounced Levitown, as Levy is the way that Mammon pronounces Leviathan as a nickname. This town was listed as one of the stops on the Verosika band t-shirt that used to be sold at the Shark Robot merchandise store.
Wow.
This is likely the capital of the Envy Ring, and if not, I still imagine it's very important, and perhaps where Leviathan herself lives. This sort of underwater isolation
Dude,
seems
looks
to have
so wild
emboldened
there.
the deep sea demons to a type of species racism in hell that goes far beyond what the other demons already display. They seem to look down on imps in particular.
Everybody
with Blitz meeting
does.
A deep sea Karen and her child, who refer
Right.
to Blitz
Oh.
as a fire toad, something imps seem to find offensive. Rolando also referred to Millie as a filthy Rathian, showing a disdain for the ring that imps seem to come from in particular. And the idea here is that the deep sea demons are trying to make themselves the envy of the other rings, but they are also probably very envious of the other rings as well. Their community may seem very nice on the surface, but there may be nothing of note to do there, with the Envians preferring to travel to even Wrath to
So
get
they're
away
putting
from
on a
their
front.
home.
Yeah,
The envy
dude.
theme is also believed to inspire the power of the deep sea demons to possess others, something that in world probably evolved out of their ability to turn ghostly.
Oh,
Today,
God.
this is used largely to possess humans on Earth, but it can be
Okay.
used to control other demons, as we see Rolando do with Blitz, and especially
That was pretty
deep in
wild.
Hell's Pass, I like to imagine that they would travel to other rings and take over the bodies of other people for long periods of time
It's-
in order to live the lives they wanted. The deep sea demons, sometimes referred to as infestors or possessors, also seem to eat the emotional energy of others, feasting on the
shit.
emotional struggles of people like Blitz.
Like
And
a
they
weird
would be able
emotional
to feast on their
succubus?
emotional energy more easily by living among them, taking over the body of someone they know, and then slowly sabotaging their life.
Like, did you ever watch that show? There's What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
It's like different types of vampires. One of them was like an emotional
Oh
vampire.
yeah, like energy vampire.
Yeah. Yes, that's kind of what that reminds me of.
Yeah.
And also, it did kind of surprise me that they were able to, like, he was able to take control of Blitz.
Yeah, that's
know?
what I was thinking. Like
Yeah.
being able to take control of other demons outside of humans.
Yes,
Like, that
that-
seems like kind of OP.
Pretty big. Yeah. I don't know, dude. It's
Each
pretty
day-
wild.
Maybe it's
Sin
just
is
lesser than they are. Maybe I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
In the mind
Instagram.
or something.
Dude. Whack Donalds. Vox Flicks. Messages. Horsey dress up. It's like one of the only normal ones. Horsey dress up. Moneymakers Bank. Freaking Satan workout. Beartsy. Dude, I'm liking all these. That's freaking hilarious. Lustinder. Yeah.
Shown to have an app themed after
Horsey
them on
dress
Blitz's
up.
Hell Phone, where Leviathan has an app called NV, spelled ENVEE, which is very important here. This app is believed to be very similar to TikTok, with a similar enough iconism,
I
but
get
either
it.
way is meant to be understood as general social media. TikTok was known early on for suppressing the content of different economic lifestyles in favor of showing content for the upper middle class suburbs, showing off a culture that is isolated but lives rather comfortably, similar to what we imagined so far for the Envy Ring. The fractured face on the icon was believed to be a reference to how social media can fracture the psyche, and while this still plays into the thematic ideas of envy, it is also a reference to Leviathan being a two-headed entity in the show. It makes sense then that this app would be two-faced, as envy is the most two-faced of the deadly sins. When you are envious, it means you want
Literally
something that
and
someone else
metaphorically.
has, and that causes you to dislike or resent them. Whereas the other part of envy is wanting to take what they have for yourself, for which you often have to put on an act of pretending you like the person, until you can either steal it, or some people keep up the act for their entire lives, needing the other person to like them in order to get access to their benefits. Leviathan displays this two-faced nature in the show, where her light face seems interested in Mammon, and at least always
Yeah, I was
puts on
looking
a
at that.
smile, perhaps
Damn.
envying his wealth and being willing to be
Like the one
close to
thing
him
is kinda
because
like,
of that.
meh.
Her
Yeah.
other face, however, is
I love
angry,
it.
seeming to hate the general situation that they are in, and being the one that keeps the other face in control, or rather holding her back. If the Envy
It's
Ring
wild.
is isolated because it is largely underwater, it would make sense to have an app where people can get an inside look to the one ring that they can't visit as easily as all the others. Before social media, I believe the Envy Ring would have tried to maintain this sense of celebrity with magazines and social gossip columns. But all of that would change when Velvet came to Hell. Velvet is the overlord of social
Freaking
media,
Velvet.
an earthborn sinner who died in the mid-2010s and who brought the social media age with her into Hell. For a while, I was surprised that envy, a deadly
wild.
sin, would have such a strong social media association as well. But as someone recently pointed out to us in our comments, the Envy app name is NV, spelled E-N-V-E-E. This is how we refer to the three V's, Vox, Valentino, and of course, the third V, Velvet, indicating that Velvet actually collaborated with Leviathan on this app. Perhaps early on, the Envy Ring relied entirely on gossip columns and the like, which we see are still popular in Hell with how they comment on Ozzy and Stolas and their scandalous affairs. But when Velvet's social media began to turn more people away from the pages, Leviathan could reach out to Velvet and the V's directly to create an app that could help her keep her own ring in the spotlight. Now, Leviathan is a fun figure in Esoterica and Mythology because he hints at something a bit more primordial. In ancient mythology, different gods represented different tribes of people, with each myth being really about its own local culture being represented by their own god. These ancient mythologies also often have stories of younger gods overthrowing an earlier generation of gods, particularly gods of the ocean. This is the case with Babylonian mythology, where Enki is described as first defeating the god of freshwater, Apsu. Enki's son Marduk goes on to defeat the god of salt water, Tiamat, who creates monsters of the sea to attack the other gods as revenge for killing Apsu. Judaism is a monotheization of these myths, where gods are reduced to less divine symbols to reserve worship for a one true god, while still preserving the real-life history that these ancient mythologies share. Leviathan is thus a symbol we might say represents an ancient massive culture that had gained control of the known world. A being that itself was chaotic and ancient, from a culture that hadn't developed what we think of as proper moral society, even by earlier culture standards.
I love the color schemes of them too. They look so freaking cool.
Would begin to symbolize even more ancient times before humans existed at all. Times where horrible monsters beyond what we can comprehend once existed, evolving into what we'd call Lovecraftian themes today. H.P. Lovecraft was a famous writer from the early 1900s who popularized this genre of cosmic horror, which involved ancient, incomprehensible powers and entities that were a darkness beyond what humans were ever meant to coexist.
It's wild to actually see his face, dude. I love H.P. Lovecraft's
or even just serpentine and coiling imagery. I believe Vivzipop said in early live streams that the spiritual world of the Helluverse would be influenced not just by Judeo-Christian traditions, but many mythologies around the world, and even modern mindsets like the ideas of Lovecraft. We saw this as far back as the Hazbin Hotel pilot, where in the background of the hotel we can see photos of the Von Eldridge family, who were said to have Lovecraftian inspiration.
That's freaking wild.
The son in this family was named Sophiathan Von Eldridge, a play on Leviathan, with many fans expecting some connection to Leviathan with her eventual reveal, but that doesn't seem to be the case. As of now, the family seems to be unrelated to the Envy Ring entirely, and they seem to have more of a general Lovecraft theme instead of a deep sea theme, but it gives some indications that Vivzi may think of Leviathan and the Envy Ring as something a bit more primordial. Stolas himself hints at the Lovecraftian lore in the episode where he was supposed to take Octavia to see the meteor shower that he calls Azathoth's Tears, with Azathoth being a primordial god of chaos and non-existence, you could say, in Lovecraftian lore. These tears representing entities of chaos that never got to exist. For me, these little details always made me want to believe that in the Helluverse, Leviathan is from a cosmic race that predates most of Hell as we understand it, or even existence as we understand it, with stronger powers rising up in Hell after her, but with Leviathan knowing that all she has to do is wait out their inevitable fall and she can continue ruling. But for more information, consider subscribing, as we undoubtedly have more demonic lore coming very soon. And if you really like lore, consider becoming a member of our channel.
Make sure you guys do go check them out if you have not, because they're freaking awesome, man.
With the one I'm working on now being the real life story of Lucifer in its different forms in the Bible. Sign up to get early access to the parts we have done and help support us making more and more. Our last video we did for the early access membership club was our Hazbin Hotel conspiracy iceberg video, which is over an hour long.
Yes, I saw that one, dude. Well, I haven't actually watched that, but I saw it on our recommended stuff. But one thing I will say is, like, so two things. Like, first of all, seeing Vizzy on, like, I think that's one of the first times I've ever actually seen her.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think that's the first time.
Wild! She's a freaking genius! She's like a mastermind, dude. And it makes me wonder, like, how long has she been working on these characters before we ever even saw anything of them at all?
There's
so much backstory, dude.
Yeah.
And even like the thing that we were saying, like the in the pilot episode of Hazbin Hotel, like it had the family portrait back there, and you could see like that detail in there. So I'm like, how much character development did she have before we ever even saw the first freaking pilot? Like, how much did she have before that?
Yeah.
I don't know, like, how accessible she actually is to people, but I would love to talk to her, man. Like, as far as, like, get her on the podcast or, like, interview her or something like that, that'd be very freaking cool. But that's probably, like, a huge pipe dream. But I don't know. It'd be very cool to do that.
You never know.
Right?
I mean,
but we're going to be checking out a lot more of these lore videos. We've talked about it for a long time. We're officially like, I don't know, this is our third one now. We're going to be doing them a lot more, and we're going to be watching these in between episodes. We're hoping to get something for like maybe a Hazbin Hotel update in the near future, but we know that Helluva Boss is going to be dropping a next episode sometime later on this month. So we're going to be here for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, stay tuned, homies. Is what I'm trying to say. Keep your notifications on. Hang out with us. We're going to be doing a lot of lore deep dives and watching a lot of stuff. We'll also be doing some theory crafting, maybe live streams as well, if you guys would be interested in that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So like, if y'all would be interested in us doing live stream theory crafting type stuff, comment that down below. And yeah, I don't know. I'd like to start doing some freaking live streams on YouTube as well. So keep us posted, keep us in the comments and all that stuff, and we'll catch you guys later. If y'all need anything at all, message us, homies.
Yeah.
We'll catch y'all then, freaking toodles.
Later.
Bye.